All right, I'm happy to say I'm here with Eleanor Roosevelt today. Mrs. Roosevelt, nice to meet you. What brings you here today?
How do you do? Well, I'm very pleased to be invited to welcome this brand new renovation of this wonderful library facility in Cleveland Heights. I understand the Noble Road Library was built in 1937, which was just a year after my husband was elected to his second term. And so they were kind enough to ask me to come and help them open the new branch, the renovated branch. And I was actually able to bring Fala along with me as well. Franklin couldn't come. Franklin is busy in Washington. But our little dog Fala just loves to go along on these little trips with me when I go to different events.
Did you enjoy libraries yourself? Were you much of a reader?
Actually, I was a very ardent reader, especially as a child, because you see, I was a very lonely little girl, and I found a lot of solace in reading books. And after my mother and father passed away, my brother and I went to live at my grandmother Hall's home. And her 4 children were holy terrors, to say the least. The boys were pretty wild and drank, and the girls were wild as well. And so I used to close myself up in my room a lot. But they had a wonderful library. And Grandma Hall was very strict, and we weren't supposed to read on Sundays, but I went and got a book anyway and went out into the gardens, and I would read. And I especially loved to read about faraway places. And that sort of sparked my desire to see much of the world, and I was very fortunate enough to be able to do that as I grew older.
And how did you meet your husband?
Actually, Franklin is my 7th cousin. So we pretty much grew up together at family gatherings. We would see each other in the summer at the family compound at Campobello up in Canada. But I hadn't really seen him much off and on until I went to, it was a Christmas party, and he was 16 and I was 14, and we became reacquainted. And after I came back from school, I went to school in Allenswood, which is in England. It's a girls' finishing school. We became reacquainted because we had actually ran into each other on the train. And so, little by little, we became, we were courting, is what they used to say in those days. And I was absolutely thrilled when he asked me to marry him.
Now, you used to write a column for a newspaper, didn't you?
Yes. When Franklin was elected president, it was called My Day. And I wrote it 6 days a week. It became a syndicated column. I was always fortunate enough to be blessed with a lot of energy and didn't require a lot of sleep. And so sometimes I would be sitting there at midnight dictating to my secretary, Lorena Hickok, we used to call her Hick. And I wrote that for quite a few years, starting when Franklin was in the White House.